In this QuoteSoft training video, you will be learning how to populate your custom template with assemblies. You will want to populate your new custom template with assemblies. Let's first navigate to the template. From the main menu, navigate to the Jobs tab. Select the blue Templates folder. Single-click the template you previously created, and let's open the template to the Assemblies tab. In the Assembly tab, you will use the buttons along the left to manage your assemblies. Select New to create a new assembly from scratch. Open to open existing assemblies in the list. Assembly Info to edit the assembly name, description, and spec. Import assemblies from elsewhere in the program, and delete assemblies. Since you created your custom template from scratch, your assembly list will be blank. With no assemblies in the list, your only options are to create a new assembly from scratch, or we can import and edit an existing assembly. We will learn both methods, starting with creating a new assembly from scratch. To add a new assembly to the list, please select New. You will be creating a static-sized assembly. Though there are many fields to enter information in, you will only need to focus on the assembly name, spec, and description fields to create this static-sized assembly. You will start by giving your assembly a name. It is suggested you enter the size of materials being used, followed by what the assembly consists of. You will next need to assign a spec, which will define both the materials to be used as well as the system. The description field is optional and can be used to define anything unique about this assembly. Again, the remaining fields are not necessary to create a static assembly. Once you have given the assembly a name, assigned the spec as the system, and given it a description, please select OK. The program will be open to the Assembly Takeoff window. It is here we will take off the materials for this assembly. To generate your assembly's material list, there are a series of steps that you must follow. From the size palette, first select the size of the material to be taken off. Then generate your footages of pipe to be used. Use the pipe icon to take off pipe mains. Use the branch icon to take off branch piping. And use the vertical icon to take off vertical pipe. Then, using the dark number entry palette, enter your quantities. And lastly, select the Accept button to save the item into the audit trail. After your lengths of pipe have been generated, you will next want to take off this assembly's fittings. This is the icon view of your fitting group. Keep in mind, there may be 1 to 3 pages of fittings depending upon which group you are in. Use the arrows in the lower right corner to toggle to additional pages. Your fittings can also be displayed in list view by selecting the word Fittings in the upper left-hand corner and using the scroll bar. Your size will still be selected. To now generate your fitting count, first select the fitting from the list. Use the number entry palette to enter a quantity, and select Accept to save the item into the audit trail. And continue generating your fitting takeoff. You will next want to take off this assembly's valves. Select the valve from the list. Use the number entry palette to enter a quantity, and select Accept to save the valves to the audit trail. And lastly, generate any specialty items associated with the assembly. To save your assembly's material list, use the Close button in the upper left-hand corner. And you will be back viewing your custom templates list of assemblies, where you can continue generating assemblies for this template. Now that you know how to create a new assembly from scratch, you'll be instructed on how to copy and edit an assembly. For this exercise, we will be making a copy of the assembly we just created and editing its sizes and quantities. To do so, select the Import button. By default, you will be directed to the template where your assembly was just created. Select the assembly from the list and select OK. In your template, you cannot have two assemblies named the same, so you will be prompted to edit the new assembly's name. And you will have now made a copy of your assembly. Now that you have made a copy of your assembly and renamed it, we will next need to open the assembly to edit its material list. To do so, select the assembly with a single click and select the Open button. Back in the Assembly Takeoff window, we can focus on editing the assembly's material list. To edit a single item's size in the audit trail, single-click the item and use Global. Here you can change the size of the material and select Save. You can select more than one item in the audit trail. Using the Control button on your keyboard, you can select multiple items, and using the Shift button on your keyboard, you can select a range of items. With multiple items selected in the audit trail, once again, use the Global button. When changing multiple items' sizes, you must first select the Change box before selecting the new size of material, followed by Save. And you will be prompted with a confirmation dialog box acknowledging the change you would like to make. Please select Yes. In addition to changing sizes, you can change existing quantities of materials. To do so, select the item or items in the audit trail, and again use Global. You will need to check the quantity box twice, once to display the field and a second time to display the value. Simply edit the value to a new number and select Save. In this assembly that we have copied and are editing, additional materials can be added. Simply follow the steps to add new materials. And lastly, materials can be removed from the list by highlighting the item or items in the audit trail and using Delete. You may be prompted to confirm the deletion by selecting Yes. And when you're done editing the assembly you copied, again, please select the Close button to save. Please continue populating your custom template with assemblies for common ways of roughing in fixtures and equipment. Thank you for watching this training video on populating your custom template with assemblies. Please continue to the next video to learn how to populate your custom template with job items.